Started spring practice and just really excited to just get back on the grass. During the off season, had an unbelievable off season. You're going to see a big increase in size, strength, and speed. And the key thing is during the off season, it was a chance that we had to just build discipline within the program. And when it comes along with discipline is accountability, and you got to hold guys accountable. And it starts in the off season because it's just the little things. And that's why we ended the season the way we ended last year, just because we weren't a very disciplined football team. And guys weren't responsible. Not only the players, but the coaches weren't either. So it gave us a chance, with a few new staff additions where, you have some guys that come into the program now and very pleased on offense with the way Kerwin and I go many years back, but he did a great job. And Jeremy with the offensive line. And then you look on the defensive side with Spicer, who's going to be our defensive line coach, and then getting Ellis in the secondary with B. Hill. It is coaches veteran coaches, guys that have been around. But, the key thing with them is not only they're good X and O's, but they also know how it's all about player development and just developing our players. And you think about just through the offseason, you're always looking to build leadership. Feel really good about the seniors we have coming up, with Barnett being a senior now and Cronkite being a senior. And you look at Atterbury and Norman, two guys that have been in the program with Livingstone, have been in the program a number of years. A lot of those guys, you take like a Livingstone, doesn't say much, but just works. And guys just respect him by the way he worked. And then even with Norman and Atterbury, don't say much. And even with Blake, but now even with Wilcox in that group, you know now that you really have a solid group of guys that are willing to work and make the program better. And we're going to start off there today, and it's all about fundamentals. We're in shorts the first couple of days, and then we go on Thursday. We're going to be able to put the pads on and bouncing around a little. But, I'm excited, just looking forward to it, and just want to get better because it's all about just getting better each and every day where a guy just improves each and every day because, when you look at spring practice, you build your team, you build fundamentals and technique, and you make sure that a player gets better each and every day. And we had 4 new players to come in mid-semester. When you look at Barnett, Evans, Vaughn, and Curry, there was 4 guys, 3 defensive backs, and a defensive lineman. We need help at DB, and that's why we would really heavy with the DBs and they getting them in. But like I said, I'm really excited about it and looking forward to the day and how we go out there and go to work.
How does your staff come together? Do you still come together pretty good?
Well, the good thing about our staff is just relationships that were just built over the years. Because I was a GA when Kerwin was playing there at Florida. Then I became a position coach, and at Jeremy, I actually recruited him. He was out of Hilton Head, upset me because I was recruiting him I was in South Carolina then, and he ended up going to Kentucky on me. And then on the defensive side with Spicer and Ellis, they've done a tremendous job. And B. Hill had been with us, so Brian knew the system already. But you have a staff that have a lot of confidence, guys that believe. Kerwin he believes in what he's doing. So when you have someone who has confidence already and they believe in the system and know they have a system, then you don't have an issue with your staff.
Charlie, how is Blake looking physically?
Well, Blake has put on like 10 pounds and has done a really good job of just putting on that added weight. I would say this, and just credit to our strength staff and the way they went about this off season, because we talked at the end of the season and I said, hey, I want to change everything in the program from the way we do things in the weight room to just how we just carry ourselves and how we go about it. And our strength staff did a great job of making sure now that the players were held accountable, but they were also held accountable in how they adjusted the schedule and the weightlifting to the players. And what we did was we broke it down into 3 groups. So we had skill, we had big skill, we had linemen, and they rotated. So every morning there was always a group at 6 a.m., and then there was always a group at 1:30, and then the next group came at like 3:30. So they rotated, and that way you had all the skill in there. Where the DBs watching the wide receivers watching them, so they're seeing the weight gains, and then the linemen when they came in there, the big guys came in, and then with the big skill with the quarterbacks and the linebackers. But it's not only Blake, but it was a lot of players. I would say probably 98% of our team had a gain in weight.
Charlie, did you feel like because of the way the season ended for you guys last year, you had to make that kind of off-season change, that change throughout the whole program itself?
Well, you look at it and you think about us last season, and you say something's got to change, and you don't ever. I don't ever like to fire coaches. That's not my deal, because you build those relationships with those guys. But you just knew that the program had to. We needed to do something different, but we also needed to do it for our players, because at the end of the day, you got to look at, hey, how are we going to make this team better? And we got to make this team better through our players. And so it was more them, hey, what can we do and what can we do differently?
Did you find yourself looking at yourself as a coach? Change some things you did yourself as a coach?
I always look at myself, and that's where it starts. That's where I start with. I start with myself, and then I go with the assistant coaches. Then the players always last. But I start with myself, and I had to get better, because you know what happens is you go along there and you're winning, and you let the little things slip, and then that's what you can't, because now when they slip. Now, when you try to get it back on track, it's hard to get back on track, because you don't let it go for so long. And that's what I can't allow, and that's what I allow to do, and I can't allow that to happen.
Charlie, you mentioned the quiet leaders like Kirk Livingstone and so forth. Who are some guys you'd like to see step up verbally to enforce that accountability you're speaking about?
You take a guy like Kurt. Kurt's not going to say much. He goes about his work, and I tell you what, like the conference has this leadership council, and he's been selected to go to in Orlando. And I told him, I said, when you go there, you better come back here and you better learn how to talk it up now, since you're going to this leadership council. But a guy like Norman, he doesn't say much. He says something in the very beginning, but you need those guys to step up when things are getting tough. You can't back away, because if you're going to step up and you want to be that guy, you have to be that guy all the time. And you got to have guys that are looking to follow you, because now that you have set a standard and you say, this is our standard, guys, this is what I expect everybody, and now, even myself included, this is what I expect of you, then they have to step up. But, like Blake being the quarterback, you love to see more from him. Wilcox is a very good football player. And so Wilcox has a lot, and he can do a lot, and he's one of those guys that he don't have to say much, but guys are going to listen to him and follow him.
What is it about Curlin's offense that excites you about what he can bring to the team next year?
Well, it's just how he attacks, and he wants to be physical, and he's a guy that's going to run the grass, and he has a great, the way he's worked his throwing game with the passing side of it is going to be really good, because he gives a quarterback, gives him a chance where he can see the field, and he's played quarterback. So now with him playing quarterback, playing the number of years that he's played, it's been really good for our quarterbacks.
Coach, injuries are part of the game. Everybody knows it. Have you ever experienced a season where your playmakers went down right and left like they did last year?
And that's tough. And I don't ever make an excuse, because you just feel like, hey, the next guy's got to come in and play. But, you lose Blake some games. You lose Cronkite some games. You look at who knows what we would have been if we don't lose Horn. And then he goes out there the first game, and it was so exciting to watch. And we're out there practicing. If you see an injury, you'd rather for it to happen in a game than to watch it happen at practice, and then you lose a guy for the whole season. But, even with the injuries, we just felt like still, though, we could have played a lot better than what we did.
Coach, when you look at last season, it's the thrill of victory, the first 7 games you had.
Dragging them feet.
How did you feel like you just couldn't stop the momentum at the end and get it turned around?
Well, like you said, you start off and you're hot and you're just rolling, and then all of a sudden, you don't play well at Houston, and then you come home, and when we came home against Tulane, we didn't play well, and so now all of a sudden, you're right, you get on that roll. We're up. You think about it, we're up 17-0 on Temple, and we're playing well, and then you go out to second half and we don't move the football, and we don't stop anybody, and then you get in the Central Florida game, and But we just, you just hit that pattern where sometimes you can't stop it. And it's happened to us all. You've been in games like that where you're sitting there like, God, we just need a play, we need a play, we need a play, and we don't get that play.
When do you start preparing for Wisconsin?
Well, it's, what we have to do first is just make sure that what we have now, where we got to build our fundamentals, and Kerwin's got a lot to put in, so we just got to make sure that that our guys can learn the offense, and then you start, then you get into it, and we probably don't have this spring. We have plenty of time to get ready for them. It's a big, strong, physical football team, and they do a great job of running the ball. And the running back is exceptional. I don't know if we can tackle him. We're going to see. I don't know if we can, but we have a lot of time before we get to that one.
Charlie, what is Cronkite's status for spring, and how does your tailback depth chart shape up?
Well, right now, Cronkite will not go through spring. So now I still have Sands. I have Sariki. I took Cherry, and I moved him there, and a Small is there. So we have enough backs where we can, and Johnny Ford. So we're playing Johnny at two positions. You're playing some at the slot, and then you're playing him at tailback. So he's going to get both. And the thing that he's doing with Johnny is Johnny's a playmaker. So we're trying to find ways to get him the ball, and that's where Kerwin's done a good job. And where he can motion him in the backfield and hand it to him, or run him out there in the flat, throw it to him, and turn around and just hand it off. But we have enough guys where we can get through, because we have 5 or 6 running backs there.
What do you hope to accomplish this spring for this game?
Well, it's you got a whole new scheme with offensively, so you want to make sure that our guys can learn the offense, and you feel comfortable coming out of it. And guys getting better, where you look at just where you got to make those where you see guys just each and every day where we made improvement, and we look like a well-rounded football team. And then defensively, we got to improve on tackling. We missed a ton of tackles last year, and it's something that's individually that we had to improve with our fundamentals, where guys are just we know how to tackle and not give up the big play. There's a lot of big plays that we're giving up, and we'll get a chance because we're going to go against our offense, and then Kerwin to open it up where balls will be selling, and so we'll see if we can defend a deep ball, and we can drive on the ball and get it on the ground.
Coach, 2 years ago, Flowers and Sanchez were the heart and soul of that offensive defense. Who needs to step up and be that guy this year?
Well, the thing about those two guys is, they got it when they was a sophomore, so they was leaders as a sophomore, and then the junior, and then they carried it through the senior. And then when you lose someone like that, what we lost, because that was the voice of our team. And so now those guys, they had moved on. And so what we need to see this season, you have a quarterback who's played. He's been in our program. He understands what we want. You have a tight end in Wilcox who's been in the program, who knows exactly. And even with Livingstone, I know he doesn't say much. And when I get Sawtell back, Sawtell's a guy that he works now, and guys knows who he is. But it's you're going to have those quiet leaders. And then you're going to have those guys who are not afraid to speak out. And the thing about it, and I told our seniors, I said to them, I said, listen, no one can ever make you a leader. You got to decide if you want to go lead the team. And then once you decide that, then we'll become a good football team.
Coach, in the NFL, they talk about hitting a rookie wall. Do the freshmen hit that wall when they come to college and have to play the 12 games at an intense level?
Well, what you try to do with a freshman, it's like the thing about a freshman, they just want to play anyway. So it doesn't matter how many reps they get. If they just get in a game, they're happy. And we played last year on defense. We played Vincent was a true freshman that ended up Yates and Barber ended up starting. They were true freshmen. And then on the offensive side, Big Jennings was a true freshman. Johnny Ford was a true freshman. Horn was a true freshman. So you played you look at inside with Meach, he was a redshirt freshman. So we played us a good group of freshmen. So those guys and they just want to play anyway. So a lot of them don't hit that wall because they just want to get out there. And for them, they don't understand yet because they just want to get in. They just want to find out, hey, how can I get on the field?
Don't know any better.
No better. No.
Last spring, you were
searching for a starting quarterback. You have that in place now. How nice is that to have in place? How nice is it to have 9 starters on offense when you're trying to pick up this offense?
Well, it's really great. It's good for our offensive coaches because you have so much returning, and because you look at us up front, you got your offensive line back. So now because you had Jennings is back at the tackle. So, but because him and Mays were going back and forth, and then you have your running backs back with Cronkite coming back. So you have that in the quarterbacks, so and the receivers. So you have a lot coming back on offense. And you're right. A year ago at this time, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. And then Blake gives us a call in May, and then we're able to get him in the system. But it's going to be really good going out there this spring because now with him inputting his system, and we know that we're going to have to gradually give it to our players, but you'll just see. You just want to see how it operates and how guys take on to it, and can they go explode with it? Because Kerwin, what they average, 54 points a game. And it's not so much what they average, it's just him inputting it and them having confidence and they believe in the system. Because if they have confidence and they believe in the system, then you're going to be able to be very productive because the players believe in you.
With Nico still sidelined a little and lid gone, how does linebacker shape up for him?
Well, right now, you have Boyles, Greer, Mims, Copeland. We have some bodies there. And probably with Sawtell not going through spring, it helps us give them the reps that they're going to need because they're going to have to play at some point. So this spring is going to be great for them because they're going to get a lot of reps. And, in the secondary also with Barnett and Curry and Evans, they're going to get a lot of reps because now you have spring practice. And that's what spring ball is for, to get those guys ready. Because we feel like this, that you need to play a lot of guys and you need to get a lot. Because not only just lining up on offense and defense, you have the kicking game, which is so involved. So a lot of these players will be kicking game players. So we got to make sure that we give them enough reps where we get a chance to just watch their athletic ability.
Some of those linebackers had to get bigger, did they?
Well, Boyles he played last year 210. I think he's at 235 right now.
Really?
Yeah. So that's what I'd say. You said Greer. I think Greer's it's 10 or 15 pounds heavier than what he was. So it's more with the strength and them running. And we're making them, with the nutrition side, made them eat. Because you know how it is now. If you see a guy, if you give him Chick-fil-A every day, he's going to eat it. If he get Wendy's every day, he's going to eat it. But you got to give him something that's going to stick to him. And they did a good job. And that's why I said, my hat is off to our players because they went about it the right way.
You feel your defense will be more physical this year, and how do you feel about being able to rotate players in the defensive line particularly?
Well, you have to be physical because you have to play physical, and we have speed too. So we ought to be a physical team that can run and be very aggressive. And you return your guys up front. I know that we lose Black, we lose Vance and Brown. We lost those guys, but still though you got Reaves who's going to go back to up front. We're going to put him back in. You have Kurt on the other side. You have Kegler inside. You have Pinckney inside. You have Yates. You have Barber. You have Leacock, guys that have played. So and Grant's coming on now. So you have guys up there, but the linebacker positions where we got to be strong and where we got to be physical. I know Sawtell's out, but now it gives us a chance to watch Greer. The guy who's been unbelievable is Mims, and he's a walk-on for us. But Mims has really came on and very competitive because we do competition drills in the off season, and it wasn't many that he lost. So you have guys that are coming on with Mims and with Greer and with Boyles and Copeland. So we got to be our front seven has got to be very physical and very aggressive, and they can get off of blocks and is not afraid to go hit the football.
Right now, going into day one, how do you feel physically?
Good, really good. Healthy as possible, bigger, stronger, faster. Got bumped up towards the end of last season and in the middle of the season too, but, standing here good, fully healthy and, ready for spring ball.
Coach said you're up about 10 pounds from...
Yeah, maybe 10 to 15, I'd say, honestly. I realistically ended up playing, at the end of season, I was about 212 or so. So I'm about 223 right now. So, you know, put on some pounds. After season, I ended up losing a little more weight too. I got sick right before the bowl game too. So the bowl game, I played about 200 pounds. And so, yeah, put some weight on since then.
How difficult do you feel it will be to adjust to the new offense, the new offensive coordinator? Has that gone pretty smoothly, or?
This is my 5th offense, so no. I mean, to be technical, it may be considered the 6th because we kind of installed a little bit of a new offense in the bowl game. So per game, this will be my 6th offensive coordinator. So, you know, I'm excited for the challenge. It is you know, a new offense for the team in general, a new offense for me, but you know, concepts are always pretty similar. Verbiage is different, and you know, how we go about calling the plays and so on is different. But you know, that's not a factor I've been worried about. But I am looking forward to being able to take it on the field in spring. Because I'd say, you know, I have the offense about it as good as I can right now as far as like on the chalkboard, you know, writing it up. But to be able to go on the field and apply it, it's going to be refreshing and exciting. So it's one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to this spring.
How great is it to have a coach who was a former quarterback and kind of maybe had some success that you can maybe lean on during these times when you're going through this 6th offensive system basically for them?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, Coach Bell has had tremendous success not only in college, but obviously in the pros and NFL and CFL. So it's been really nice to be able to get some of his coaching points and understand this offense that he's brought into here. I'm looking forward to going on the field and seeing how he is out there because that's just something I'm not too familiar with yet, and none of the team is really, just because we haven't practiced yet. So it's something I'm looking forward to. But yeah, he's very, very smart, and you know, this offense is going to be exciting.
Charlie said that basically you guys had to kind of start over. You had to do a lot of things in the offseason, change a lot of things, talked about accountability. What have you noticed during the last couple of months of the offseason?
Yeah, there's definitely been I'd say like a change of enthusiasm through, you know, when I came in here last summer to these winter workouts. Guys, you know, seemed a lot more excited. You know, I think that the team is more that of itself a team. I think guys are more involved. Guys care about each other maybe a little bit more. Not saying that didn't happen last year, but I think it's just, you know, been taken up a notch. Everyone has their mindset on what we want to accomplish, and obviously, you know, ending the season last year the way we did, that's unacceptable. And you know, we're motivated to come out and be better than that this year.
Like, what are some of the things you feel you need to do better going into your 2nd year leading this team?
I think leading is definitely one of those things I want to improve on. Last year, I said it a lot, but last year was kind of tough. I felt like at times for me to kind of step in and be that leader when, you know, I'd only known some of these guys for a couple months, literally. So having a lot more familiarity with the guys on the team, with the coaching staff, you know, the head guys, you know, I feel a lot more comfortable around here in that aspect. But just overall, I want to improve my game as far as how I play, how I take care of the ball, and just, you know, obviously improve. And as I'm going to my senior year, I want to, you know, get better, obviously.
How much of a motivating factor is the way you ended the season as far as going into this year?
I think it's a big thing, but it's also not something that we're carrying around. You know, it's in the past, and so we're trying to move on from that, but we're also trying to learn from what happened. You know, obviously, I'd be silly to sit up here and say no one wants to win 6 games and sound surprising. So, or I'm sorry, no one wants to lose 6 games. So I think it's accepted and everyone realized what happened. But like I said, we're trying to move on from that and you know, prepare for next year.
Following up on that a little bit, there's an old saying, if something doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. What's the one thing from last year that's going to make you stronger?
I mean, if you want to bring that up, then I'd say the 6 games. Obviously, it's a big downfall to last season, the biggest downfall, quite honestly. So, you know, if you want to say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, then I guess you can apply it to that. But you know, we're really excited for this spring, and you know, getting better, being able to, you know, use the guys that we have coming back. You know, I think 9 starters are coming back on offense. A lot of guys coming back on defense. So we're really excited to put it on the field and learn this new offense and get better.
Blake, Coach told us he's going to kind of double train Johnny at the slot and at tailback. What kind of dimension would that add to the passing game?
A lot. You know, Johnny's a very skillful player. I think he was able to show that last year, especially as a true freshman. So being able to use him and his abilities in different positions will really give our offense a different element. So, you know, he's, like I said, he's really explosive. He can catch better than a lot of people know of just because he didn't play a receiver last year. But, you know, I think him playing the slot, him doing a little bit of running back, and it'll bring a good refresher to our offense.
Have you ever been associated in a program where your wide receivers went down or had to play hurt all season like it was last year?
Not necessarily. You know, last year at the end of the season, we ended up, you know, we were pretty short-staffed at receiver. And that's none of the guys' fault. That's just the way it was. We had a lot of guys transfer in who, you know, couldn't play. But guys were getting banged up, you know, and we didn't have that much depth at receiver last year. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a lot more guys be eligible and be ready to play this year.
How exciting is it to get Mitch back? You guys didn't know, and he's back coming off a career year. What do you think the possibilities are for him, too?
A lot. You know, Mitch is an explosive player also. You know, he had a lot of great things done last year and the years prior to me being here. So that's always a good foundation to build upon. Like I said, he's one of the 9 essential guys that are coming back this year. And, you know, so he's very dynamic in the run game and the pass game as well. So I think this offense is going to let him really take advantage of his strengths.
Charlie talked about helping with the nutrition has helped out you guys maybe when it comes to some of that weight gain and everything. Have you changed anything in your diet or anything that you do maybe specifically that helped you?
Yeah, I have personally. I hired I paid to get a nutritionist just because it's tough for me in season personally. I can always put on weight in the off season, but once season comes around, schedule's, you know, really tight. Practicing, class, I got family, we got a lot of stuff going on. So to know what to eat at the right times of the day is something that's really going to help me, especially coming to my senior season, to you know, maintain the weight and hopefully help maintain my health. Honestly. What's
the biggest thing your nutritionist has told you that maybe you have to change a little bit of what you've been doing with your eating?
You know, I don't want to give away all the secrets because I'm paying him. So, but you know, just what to eat, when to eat, and how much I need to eat.
Switch back to defensive end.
Extremely excited. You know, go back to a definitely more familiar position. You know, especially not playing that position like since high school, linebacker. So, you know, just getting back to I feel like maybe my roots. You know, just have a little fun out there.
How's your off season been? Where do you think you've improved?
Really just confidence. Just coming out here with the guys and grinding every day, just working hard and being a leader. One of the biggest things I've just been trying to work on. Last year I was allowed to lean on a lot of guys like Ronnie, Kevin Bronson for leadership, and now I kind of realize it's on me, other older guys, Kirk, Livingston, you know. So just growing up as a leader and yeah.
Some guys on defense, they just like to put their hand in the dirt. You're that kind of guy?
Definitely. I mean, I'd like to stand up as well, but putting your hand in the dirt is no position like it. You know, versatility, just going down there fighting in the trenches each and every snap. So.
I know this is way down the line, but Wisconsin linemen block the sun. Are you looking forward to that challenge?
Definitely, for sure. I mean, not to say they're just another game on the schedule. They're a great opponent, great team. So definitely looking forward to playing them. They have traditionally one of the best offensive lines in the country every year. Traditionally run the ball down everybody's throat, so it's definitely going to be a challenge we look forward to.
Greg, how noticeable is it about just how much bigger physically some of the defensive guys have gotten?
I mean, it's hard for me to notice because I'm around them so much. So I guess that'd be for you guys to tell. But weight-wise, I mean, I've seen the numbers improve. People say, yeah, I put on 20, I put on 10, 15. Like, really? Really? You know, you really don't notice, especially when you're around somebody every day. You don't see the changes. But I feel like we've put on a lot of weight. And, you know, even myself, I put on, I don't want to say like 10 pounds. I'm not going to say I put on a lot. But about 10 pounds. Just been trying to make sure I don't get too big, so to where I can't run, can't move. So.
How has your diet changed? What are some things maybe you've taken out and some things you maybe have put in?
Diet-wise, I mean, I was talking to one of the strength coaches, and basically what he told me was just, I told him it was really going to be really hard to change my diet because I like fried chicken, grease, a lot of grease. I mean, really. But he just kind of put it in me, told me if I wanted it bad enough, I'd do it. So just a lot of like grilled chicken and rice. It's what my brother always eats every day. I don't know how he does it. Grilled chicken and rice. I mean, it's hard to commit to it. I do it at least 3 days out of the week, 3 days out of the 5. But
You add a little flavor to it, though, I guess.
yeah. I haven't found that flavor yet. That just gives me.
Charlie said that this offseason, obviously the program had to take a hard look at itself and make some changes. There was new coaches brought in. What have you noticed that during the offseason that you've seen this program kind of change and evolve?
I wouldn't say necessarily change myself. I felt like defensively, we even talked about it yesterday. Coach BJ always talks about the standard. Guy that used to always talk about that, Augie Sanchez, that's my guy. He always talked about the standard that was set, not only before us, but you know, the standard that we set, the standard of defense we want to play. And honestly, we talk about it all the time. We want to get back to that. The standard of defense, the level of play. We want 11 guys to the football, hungry, fast, and physical. So that's really the biggest thing, trying to get back to what got us here, you know.
Speaking of what got you here, last year at the beginning of the year, you looked more like an attacking defense. At the end of the year, it looked like you're more reacting. Did you get that feeling?
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess I didn't notice it. It was like I said, it was a lot of changes going on last year, injuries, and such. So I mean, just getting everybody back healthy. You know, that's really what I'm looking forward to. So.
Nico's going to be in a non-contact jersey, but how big is it to get him back and get him on the field running around again?
Extremely big. I know he's extremely excited. I talk to him every day. You know, I know he misses it. You know, I know it's probably nice getting some time off and getting his body back, but I know Nico misses the game so much, and I can only imagine having to sit out that long. You know, it's been since I think I don't know. He only played 7 games last year, but that's crazy. Like he's gonna miss the spring, but he's gonna be out there in non-contact jersey, and that's crazy. But I mean, I'm happy for him. Happy to have him back out there. You know, he's a big force in that linebacker room. He's a senior leader in that room. So I mean, just looking for him to do great things this year, not only for us to spring as a leader, but on the field.
How excited are you to take on the challenge of a new offense with a new offensive coordinator, maybe to see some dynamic offensive plays out there?
I'm definitely excited. I always take on the challenge of going out there with our offense, going out there and compete with them guys each and every day. So now I'm going with an offense that I've never seen. I feel like it's going to be exciting. You know, it's a challenge. I mean, from what I've heard, they put up 52 points a game, which is, like I said, something I look forward to. If they can do that, I love it. You know, so I mean, do I want to put up 52 points on us in practice? No. Our job is to stop it. Our job is to, I feel like that's only going to make us better. You know, going out there competing with those guys. And so I look forward to it, see what Coach Bell has up his sleeve. So.
Going against an offense every day of practice that plays at that frenetic speed, how much better does that make your defense?
It makes it a lot better, especially with the athletes that are running that offense. Hate to see Johnny Ford out in space, you know. So it's pretty fun.
Greg, if there's one thing this team needs to accomplish this spring, what is it?
To reestablish our identity. Not only reestablish our identity, but get our confidence back, get our swag back. Like I said, talking about what got us here. Not only being able to trust in the younger guys that are stepping into roles, key roles, trusting guys on the defense to step up, like Mike Hampton, who's becoming an older guy in the defensive back room, who played really well last year, and I expect a lot from him. Kirk Livingston had a great year last year. Expect him to step up. So for my goal for us this spring is have a lot of guys step up, step into roles, because right now it's really a lot of open spots. a lot of guys, we don't know where these defensive players are going to come from on my side of the ball. So, I'm just looking for a lot of guys to step up, especially leadership-wise, young guys just stepping in the roles. We had a couple JUCO transfers, so, that's my biggest thing.